Listening and speaking practice. Hello everyone. Today we are going to practice our listening and speaking skills to improve our pronunciation. A long time ago, in a small house made of wood, nestled deep in the forest of northern Russia, there lived a little boy named Igor with his mother and father. Despite their love for each other, Igor's family was impoverished. His father worked as a woodcutter, while his mother sewed clothes for the wealthy in the nearby city. In the summertime, the forest came alive with the melodies of birds singing to each other, and Igor's father taught him the names of the different birds, and the boy soon became familiar with their songs. However, in winter, the days were short and the forest was shrouded in deep snow, and the once vibrant forest fell silent as the birds migrated to warmer lands. One winter, Igor fell ill. His mother tried her best to nurse him back to health with special food and drink, but his condition only worsened. The doctor from the city came to examine him and spoke with Igor's parents. "He's very ill, but I don't know what's wrong with him," said the doctor. "Many children all over the country are falling ill and dying this winter, and we don't know why. I'm sorry, but there's nothing more I can do. Just make sure he gets plenty of rest and nourishing food." As the days passed, Igor's condition deteriorated. He spent most of his time in bed, growing bored with his toys. His father tried to cheer him up by bringing little trinkets from the forest, but nothing seemed to interest the ailing boy. Igor's face grew pale, and he lost his appetite. Sometimes at night, he would run a fever and dream of flying above the snow-laden forest, looking down at his family's little house from above. One morning, after a particularly restless night, Igor woke up to find his father by his bedside. "Is there anything you want, my son?" asked his father with a worried expression. "Yes, father," said Igor weakly. "I miss the songs of the birds. Could you catch a bird and put it in a cage for me? If you hang the cage above my bed, I can listen to the birds singing and remember the sounds of the forest." Igor's father felt a pang of sadness, knowing that there were no birds in the forest during the winter. "Perhaps I could make you a bird out of wood," suggested his mother. "We could use one of those small pieces of wood that we usually burn in the fire." On a cold and snowy day, Igor's father set out to cut wood from the forest trees. Despite the challenging conditions, he worked tirelessly, determined to make his son a wooden bird. After several failed attempts, he finally had an idea. He would carve the bird from just 2 pieces of wood, carefully shaping them to resemble real feathers. With steady hands, Igor's father carved the wood into a head, body, tail, and wings. He painstakingly smoothed out the feathers, working late into the night. When he was satisfied with his creation, he showed it to his wife, who used a needle and thread to sew the feathers together, just like a real bird. Igor's father was overjoyed to see the light in his son's eyes as he watched the wooden bird above his bed. It was a beautiful sight, and the woodcutter knew that all his hard work had paid off. Igor smiled weakly at his father, and for the first time in weeks, he seemed to have a glimmer of hope. "Thank you, father," Igor whispered, his voice barely above a whisper. "It's perfect." Igor's father smiled warmly and sat by his son's bedside. He reached out and gently touched the wooden bird, causing it to spin slowly on its thread. Igor's eyes followed the bird's movements, and a faint smile appeared on his face. "Does it remind you of the forest, Igor?" his father asked softly. Igor nodded, tears welling up in his eyes. "Yes, father," he said. "I can almost hear the birds singing again." His father's heart swelled with happiness. He knew that the wooden bird couldn't replace the real birds that Igor loved so much, but it brought a sense of comfort to his son during his illness. From that day on, Igor spent hours watching the wooden bird as it turned above his bed. His fever gradually subsided, and he started to regain his strength. His mother made sure he had plenty of good food to eat, and he slept soundly at night, comforted by the gentle spinning of the bird. One day, when Igor was feeling much better, his father took him outside for a short walk in the forest. It was still winter, but the snow had started to melt, and signs of spring were beginning to appear. Igor took in the sights and sounds of the forest with renewed joy, listening to the chirping of the birds and feeling the warmth of the sun on his face. As they walked, Igor's father told him stories about the different birds they encountered, just like he used to do before Igor fell ill. Igor listened intently, his eyes sparkling with delight. He realized that even though the wooden bird was special to him, nothing could compare to the real beauty of nature. Months passed, and Igor made a full recovery. He was back to running and playing in the forest, and he cherished every moment he spent surrounded by nature's wonders. The wooden bird still hung above his bed, a reminder of his father's love and care during his illness. Years later, when Igor had grown into a young man, he became a skilled woodworker like his father. He crafted many beautiful wooden birds, but none were as special as the one his father had made for him when he was a little boy. It remained a cherished memory, a symbol of love and hope that had helped him through a difficult time in his life. And as Igor grew older, he continued to pass on the stories and knowledge of the forest and its birds to the younger generations, just like his father had done for him. He knew that the beauty of nature and the songs of the birds were precious gifts that should be treasured and preserved for generations to come. As Igor grew into adulthood, he became renowned for his woodworking skills. He crafted exquisite wooden birds that were highly sought after by collectors and art enthusiasts. Despite his success, Igor never forgot the lessons he had learned from his father and his love for the forest and its birds. One day, Igor received a special request from a young girl named Anna. Anna had heard about Igor's talent as a woodworker and had a deep love for birds, just like Igor did. She had been bedridden with an illness for several months and was feeling lonely and disconnected from the outside world. Igor felt an instant connection with Anna and decided to create something truly special for her. He poured all his craftsmanship, love, and passion into crafting a wooden bird that was more beautiful and intricate than any he had ever made before. He paid close attention to every detail, ensuring that the bird would come to life in Anna's imagination and bring her comfort during her illness. When the wooden bird was finally complete, Igor personally delivered it to Anna's home. The moment she laid eyes on the bird, her face lit up with joy and wonder. She held it gently in her hands and marveled at its lifelike features and delicate craftsmanship. "I've never seen anything so beautiful," Anna whispered, tears of gratitude in her eyes. Igor smiled and sat by Anna's bedside, just like his father had done for him years ago. He told her stories about the birds he had encountered in the forest, describing their colors, songs, and behaviors. He spoke with passion and enthusiasm, just as his father had done for him, igniting Anna's curiosity and love for birds even more. In the following weeks, Anna's health gradually improved. She spent hours watching the wooden bird as it turned above her bed, just as Igor had done when he was a boy. The bird became her constant companion, bringing her comfort, joy, and a renewed connection to the beauty of nature. When Anna finally recovered, she was filled with gratitude for Igor's gift and the stories he had shared with her. She knew that the wooden bird and Igor's kindness had played a significant role in her recovery, and she decided to carry on the legacy of love for birds and nature that Igor had passed down to her. Years passed, and Igor continued to create his beautiful wooden birds, sharing his craftsmanship and stories with people from all walks of life. His reputation as a master woodworker and lover of nature grew far and wide. He was content knowing that he had made a positive impact on others' lives and had preserved his father's legacy in his own way. And just like his father had done for him, Igor eventually passed down his woodworking skills and love for birds to his own son, ensuring that the legacy would continue for generations to come, a timeless reminder of the enduring power of love, hope, and the beauty of nature. Thank you for watching the video. I ask that you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to be notified when new videos are released.